Hey everyone, I'm Gavin. And welcome back to MyXP. Today we're going to be talking to you about one of my favorite games of all time, Breath of Fire 2 for the SNES. Enough with the encounters already! Ah! Yeah, so Breath of Fire 2 for the SNES, even though it has a couple of things that, you know, may just drive you crazy or give you a little bit of PTSD, it's a fantastic game. I absolutely love Breath of Fire 2, one of the games that, you know, again, I've grown up with and I've rented countless times from local rental store. This game, for me, was probably among the best games on the Super Nintendo. I used to play this every time I could get my hands on this. I'd start over my file countless times because I would have to, considering my save file was always erased whenever I'd rent the game again. But yeah, Breath of Fire 2, it's one of those games that really hits home with me. I used to play this game all the time with my friends. We'd always compare files and, you know, see what characters you recruited for your town and everything, and just, you know, see which benefits that they would give you. And again, this game came at a time when I didn't really have access to the internet or anything, so there were no like guides that I could look up to tell me how to do certain things certain ways. So I'd always have to have like exercise books filled with notes, just, you know, detailing like what each character did or what else this merchant sold whenever you recruit them for your town, and just a whole slew of different things like that. So the thing with me in Breath of Fire is that I'm trying to do this like little, you know, hashtag BringBackBoF thing, and I'm just hoping that, you know, maybe someone at Capcom or somebody notices and realizes that a lot of the fans are really passionate about the series and give it the attention that it deserves. Now, Breath of Fire 2 for me is one of those prime examples of perfection in a video game. It's a masterpiece alongside things like Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana, because everything that Breath of Fire 1 did, Breath of Fire 2 improved upon substantially, and just everything. I mean, the music itself is just amazing. As soon as you hear those battle themes and everything, you can't just help but to bob along to them and, you know, just really get into it. Every single one of the different, like, levels or castles or environments or anything, they're all so unique, different from each other, and there's even a couple of throwbacks to Breath of Fire 1, which is really nice to see. There are a couple of characters that make their cameos into this game as well, and that's awesome. The dragon forms have been improved upon, in my opinion, although they do cost, you know, AP to use rather than, you know, Breath of Fire 1 system where you turn into the dragon and then you stay as that dragon, and there's no, like, continual AP costs. But the thing that used to drive me nuts about Breath of Fire 2 was always getting to a certain point and you think you're powerful enough and then you just completely get slammed into the floor, whether it be, you know, getting hit by a critical hit from the enemies or egg beaters, because, you know, everybody loves egg beaters. This is one bane of my existence with this game. It's just whenever an enemy decides, oh hey, you know what, I'm gonna attack you 2 times in a row, and you just get completely wrecked. So yeah, there's a couple of things that change up the formula a little bit, and it just makes this game a lot more challenging for the average RPG player. It required a lot more grinding and everything, but it was so rewarding to actually like play this game and get through it. Now, when I initially played the game, I used to do a lot of grinding into it. Now, this most recent playthrough that I did on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Gavin_vengeance, you can watch me there. I'm going to be continuing on with Breath of Fire 3 next. But the playthrough that I did most recently, I had a lot of help from the chat and everything. Very helpful. Gotta be a shout out to all those guys. I really appreciate it again for every tip, every trick that you guys know about that I'm just not aware of. And it just made the gameplay a lot better and a lot easier for me to go through this time. I learned about like a couple secret areas where you could level up faster and everything, and it was just really cool to, you know, experience a lot more of the game that I had missed. So with Breath of Fire 2, the one thing that I can really say about this game outside of like Breath of Fire 1 is that it's just a lot more polished. Even just the, you know, the combat windows, the menus, everything is a lot more polished. Translation's still a little shoddy because there's certain attacks and stuff that, you know, they're named Spark, and you would think, you know, Spark, okay, well that's got to be an electrical attack, right? But it's not. It's a flame attack. So there's a few things like that, and you know, a lot of like abbreviated item names and equipment names that makes it a little bit difficult for you to determine, you know, what this piece of equipment is or what its exact use may be. Because there's even, you know, a couple items, there's one I can remember that it says condition up or something, and it just says make sure you're in the best condition, and I couldn't find a use for this item. So there was a lot of things like that that, you know, you'd probably have to go in and, you know, learn exactly what these items do through a guide or through information online. Or you could play the Game Boy Advance port of the game, which is a lot better and a lot more polished, according to everybody that was in the chat, and they were always asking me, like, why are you playing the Super Nintendo version? This version's not as good as the Game Boy Advance version, but that's the version that I grew up with, so this is the one that I want to play through on my stream. And yeah, just Breath of Fire 2, there's a whole lot, like I said, that's a lot more polished and everything. There's, you know, the whole, like, town building aspect, which is a really great addition to the game. Just being able to, like, unite your characters, and not just with the one character with, like, Karn in Breath of Fire 1, but pretty much almost all of your characters could have some sort of fusion that'll give them, like, a stat increase or different abilities, and even different appearances based on which shamans that you decide to fuse with your characters. So it's really cool, again, to see like all these different like sprites and all these different power-ups and everything available for you, as well as, like I said, this whole town building aspect where you can pretty much get access to a lot of these really powerful items early on in the game, and you also see some of the best items in the game come from that if you're fortunate enough to go and recruit certain people early on in the game. So Breath of Fire 2, again, awesome gameplay, awesome story. There's just so much to this game, and even the story, again, is a lot more, like, fleshed out. It's just, there's so much more context to a lot of different situations. There's really emotional things that happen in the game without spoiling anything that, you know, the first time that I ever experienced these events in the game, I can remember honestly like shedding tears and everything, and just being like really taken back. It's a very great game and very well put together. This is again something that I forgot to mention, but Capcom didn't rely on Square Enix for the publishing or anything with this game. This was just solely on Capcom, and it really shows, you know, the quality of a game that they can actually like produce on their own, and it's an amazing game. Breath of Fire 2 is something that if you haven't played it, you have to check this game out. It's amazing in every aspect, and it's really like not hard to go back and play because the game has aged so well. But Breath of Fire 2, again, I could gush about this. I mean, everything, absolutely everything. You know, there's certain tracks in this game that immediately get stuck in your head, or like when you going through the opening scene of the game and you just read the text and everything, you know you're in for an incredible adventure. Just everything about it, everything about this game is, it's a masterpiece. It's the only way to describe Breath of Fire 2. So my experience with Breath of Fire 2, as you can tell, it's been an amazing experience, and it's really nice to go back and revisit this game and just experience this in a whole new light with all this new community and just everything that's available now to me, versus, you know, when I was a kid just playing it with a couple of friends and, you know, just renting the game on the weekend. It's really crazy to think just how far everything has came. And I know I sound like an old person whenever I'm like, you know, technology, it's awesome. But it's just, it's crazy to me. I never thought that it would ever get to this point. So it's really awesome to be able to share my passion with the Breath of Fire series with all of you guys. And yeah, as always, I appreciate you guys for watching and taking the time to hang out with me in Twitch chat and everything. It's crazy, man. It's incredible. Yeah, if you guys like my video, don't forget to like, subscribe. Yeah, check me out on the Twitch channel. Links for everything, all my social media, everything should be down in the description below. And yeah, let's continue on with Breath of Fire 3 next. Might be a couple of weeks or whatever before that one's out, because I still have to replay through it before I can give a, you know, perspective on it. Even though there are certain things from my childhood I want to cover, I just kind of want to have that fresh in my mind. So look over that video in a couple of weeks, and I will see you guys over on Twitch. Take care. See you later.